Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we explore the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Milan Kohut, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced, the lessons learned, and the strategies fueling future growth. Today, I'm absolutely thrilled to be joined by Trish Gower, the owner of Messy Minded Magic and a sales specialist at Twilight Magical. She coaches ADHD women to build businesses that match their unique brain wiring, drawing from her experience launching e-commerce ventures like Bored to Brilliant on Shopify using smart targeted social media campaigns. Trish has helped hundreds of creative, messy-minded women scale their operations while overcoming personal hurdles like fear of growth. With that being said, Trish, let me officially welcome you to Founders Future.
Thank you very much. That was beautiful.
I tried my best. I'm very happy that you like it. Beautiful. Trish, I was very much looking forward to having this conversation. So we're going to jump right into it. What I love to do with all of my guests is a little bit of traveling back in time. So before you even had this company, what were you doing before? And then eventually, what was the motivation for starting the project?
Oh, I have done it all. Let's just start with that. But when I realized that I had a passion for coaching, I actually was in a coaching program learning how to build that business, Bored to Brilliant. And I noticed a recurring theme. There were so many women like me that we all had the same program. We all had the same, curriculum. We all had the same coaching, but we all were at different places. And I started to understand that those of us who had neurodivergent tendencies were struggling because of the way our brains are built. And I knew right then that I wanted to help people like me find success.
Beautiful. Yeah, I was literally just having a conversation with somebody else like an hour ago. And I was basically emphasizing the point of if you're going through the trenches of these issues yourself, it's just a completely different level of understanding that you have for your clients. And you
Yeah,
literally know what they're going through and what they're battling with. So
yeah.
that just makes you a better coach. Now, Trish, we're going to talk about what this journey overall got you, because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of pivoting and adjustments along the way to really get clear on who you're going to help and and what it's going to look like for your clients as the journey. So yeah, help the listeners understand who it is exactly that you're trying to help right now, but also what are the core offerings that you have in place for them.
Well, it's kind of funny because when I started, like every good ADHD soul, once we learn something, we're excited about it and we want to share it with everyone else. And so my first thoughts were, I'm going to teach them how their brain works. I'm going to show them all the cool things like executive dysfunction and time blindness and all of these things. And that fell flat pretty quickly because we know we have a problem. We want to know how it applies to our life and to our business. And since most of the people that were coming to me knew me from the business realm, they knew I had grown a successful e-commerce store to 500K and then sold it. They wanted to understand what did you do that was different that helped you take this same opportunity that I have and make it into something amazing. And so that then turned into, okay, if we can't regulate your mind and your nervous system, you can't elevate your income, right? You just can't. And so now I help messy-minded women find systems that work for their brain, but also more importantly, learn to understand their own nervous system and the way their brain is wired and work with it instead of against it. And it makes all the difference.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Now that we have a better understanding of how it pivoted and who it is that you're looking to help, let's talk about what the client actually goes through in terms of the journey. Now, what are the different stages? What are the core offerings? What is the frequency of working with you? Just tell us all about it.
For sure. So basically, the client journey through our program is tailored. I have a couple of different levels, but truthfully, it really starts with a good intake. Having a conversation with them. Where are you stuck? Let's find that bottleneck. Let's figure it out. Is it an emotional issue? Is it a trauma issue? Is it you just don't understand what's going on? The tech is killing you. And then we custom tailor. So yes, I do have a core program. I have a 12-week system that I run through, but we also once a week have what I call body doubling sessions, mentorship sessions. We just call them co-working sessions. And we meet together and we just say, okay, where are you at? What have you done? What worked? What didn't? And what are you working on now? And then we work together for an hour and a half. We just silently co-work. And it's a way to make sure that they're doing the work because let's face it, we have all the ideas. right? We have all the pathways in front of us. But if we don't have someone to say, okay, look, that's great. You did well here. This could be better this way. Now let's do this. And it's super easy for me to help other people do that, right? Not as easy for me to implement. And so I know what they need. It's crazy how that works, but it does work.
Hmm.
It works so well. So yeah,
Yeah.
I have a core level and then I have a mentorship level, which even includes mindset coaching. My mindset coach changed the trajectory of my life. My husband would tell you she saved our marriage. So I mean, it
Wow.
just the right coach can make all the difference.
Yeah, beautiful. Now, when it comes to the duration, you basically said it's the core of the program is 12 weeks. What would you
It
say?
is.
Yeah, yeah. What would you say when it comes to people literally leveraging on the mentorship that you can provide? What would you say is like the average duration of a client really staying with you and going through all of those materials that you created?
Most of my clients would have been with me for about 3 to 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay, I was
it's
expecting
an
something
ongoing
longer,
support.
but
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, no. So it's a 12-week repeating cycle because
Mm,
business is like that, right? And with ADHD, we're like a sponge. Once the sponge gets full, things fall off. And so you have to keep refilling the sponge, right? And so by doing it in that way, they're able to take things in, implement, take in, implement, and then when the next round comes through, because it's a year-long program, okay? So when they purchase the core level, they get to stay in the coaching in the Facebook group forever. But the mentorship level is a year, all right? And so at the end of that year, they can choose if they want to rejoin or move on. And so many of them have rejoined and rejoined and rejoined because it is ongoing support. It's hand-holding. I'm not teaching you how to run your business. You have every document, every material, every program under the sun to do that. I'm helping you implement and I'm helping you strategize. Right now, I'm helping a lady with a business plan. I'm helping another lady source journals for her business. We do it all because that's what they need.
yeah. Absolutely. Now, also, if somebody is listening to this podcast right now and maybe they're not at all familiar with who are you and what is the company and what it really is when it comes to your program, there is also one thing that I really want to clarify because there is a lot of professionals in your industry who are
Mhm.
only focusing on the one-on-one aspect of work, but there's also some who are mainly steering towards the direction of creating group coaching offers and really building that sense of community and belonging and going through this together, right?
Yes.
So how does that work with your offer?
I have both. The majority of it is small group because I feel like we crave interaction. We crave feedback. And it's nice to have one person's feedback, but we really need that group. We need that core group of women. So I can see that if, hey, if Sally is going through this week, that makes me feel better. I feel bad for her, but I want to support her. But I was going through that last week, right? I'm not alone. I'm not alone. So that group portion is so important. But then also offering that one-on-one aspect because there are things in our lives that we don't want to share with everyone. And so that availability is there. I wanted to make sure it was built in. I also in the mentorship level offer I have a done for you portion where we do the
Mhm.
social media, we do the email. I also have a VA built in to where they get 2 weeks of VA or 2 hours of VA per week to schedule their stuff because that's the part we hate, the meticulous part. Like I've tried to think of it all and it just keeps evolving as we go.
Absolutely. Hence all the pivoting that I was talking about at the beginning of the episode. But this never ends, though. This is true
No.
entrepreneurship. But
Yeah.
beautiful. Now, also, Trish, if you're open to it, let's talk about the backend side of the business. You already know this, but on Founders Future, if it is regarding sales, marketing, operations, strategy, we want to talk about it.
Yeah.
So, in terms of having a good client acquisition system in place, what is it that you currently do on the front of marketing yourself, and also maybe specifically lead generation to make all of this happen?
Okay, so that was where I really struggled. One of the questions that you asked on the prep was there ever a time in your journey that you froze? And I did. I mean, I hit a brick wall. I stopped believing in myself. Menopause did not help. Hello, 50s women. But I froze and I did not know what to do. I stopped believing in myself. I started feeling ugly. I started having anxiety every morning when I would wake up, and I just froze. And I did not know how to get out of that. Once I got my system regulated, I was able to start pursuing. And I honestly tried to do all the traditional online, the webinars, the shout until your throat hurts on Facebook, reaching into people's DMs and all of that. And that's not who I am. It's not. And I ran into someone who I look up to who said that local offline is the new online. And I thought, ooh, tell me more. And so, really, I am going all out into public speaking. When you reached out and you're like, hey, would you be interested? I'm like, yes, I absolutely would. Because when you align yourself with what it is that you're supposed to do, things start falling into your lap. Um, right now, I have two stages booked. I have two local interviews. I have three podcasts. And that's just within the last few weeks that I've determined this was the direction I was going. So,
Wow.
yeah, it's exciting. I'm
Yeah.
so excited.
It is exciting, and I would definitely agree to a certain extent. But also with this in mind, I'm very curious about like how much of a part is social media is going to take overall when you consider the strategy. Are you going to continue creating a ton of content, being present with your audience, or what is your strategy with social
Absolutely.
media?
Absolutely, because once they meet you, we all know it takes a number of touches. Used to, they would say it's
Mhm.
7 touches. Now, I come from the e-com realm, so 7 times to see a product before you purchase it. The last I heard, and this may not be current, it was 21 touches. 21 touches. So one speech may not be enough, but once they see me in person, once they meet me, then they run into me on Instagram, and then they see something on Facebook, and then they find out I'm on LinkedIn. And my persona just keeps following them around, they finally get the message that, you know what, maybe either she's really good at marketing or I'm supposed to be listening here, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
I'm
definitely a
also
huge part of
curious
it.
to I'm also curious to get your perspective on something else though, because whenever I talk about those activities that we typically take on the side of organic, and especially something that you like word of mouth referrals, we
Mhm,
know that these are the best source of leads. It's
mhm.
quite easy to close somebody like that because your
Yes.
results are speaking for you. But at the
Yes.
same time, there's a lot of frustration about the inconsistency of those
Mhm.
sources, right? So in terms of if you compare it to, for example, paid advertisement on different social media platforms, it is very inconsistent. So I guess my question is, what is your perspective on that first? And then also, what are you planning on doing in terms of battling with the inconsistency?
I know for a fact that ads work. I know they work. I know that Facebook ads work because I use them in my e-commerce business. My issue with it is when you're bootstrapping something, because I quit my job this week to do this full time. So yeah, when you're doing a 9 to 5 and you have, in my case, grandbabies, three grandbabies that I watch, a husband who is on the autism spectrum, and in-laws that I have to run to Indianapolis, which is 2 hours from here for doctor visits. You've got to have systems that work when you cannot. My problem is with my client being a neurodivergent ADHD, it's a little tougher for me to find the keywords, and I didn't want to learn anything new right now. So I'm starting with the organic, getting out and speaking. I'm definitely not averse to running ads, but I'd like to have some income coming in a little more steadily before I start doing that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is a very smart and healthy perspective to have on it. And also, I would say one thing, whenever somebody like you or anybody in the industry or something running a similar kind of project, you really need to build out that organic first. Because even if you get to that point where you start investing money into ads, the best way to make this work is if all of those components are working at the same time and you basically
Yes.
create a symbiosis between them, right? So
Yes.
that's definitely a smart approach. Now, when it comes to this, it also begs the question, there's going to be a ton of activities that you need to take to really stay engaged with your audience, all of the
Yes.
content creation, publishing, yada, 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 right? So
Mhm.
my question is, are you trying to build something big that would eventually support other people coming into the ecosystem that you're creating, having teams for whether it's marketing, sales, possibly even fulfillment, other coaches helping you in the future? Or what is that ultimate
Eventually,
idea?
yes. Eventually, the mindset coaching portion of the program I already outsource because everybody deserves a chance to work with my mindset coach. She was the one that made the difference for me, and I knew immediately that I wanted her in my program. So she is the mindset coach in my program. I have two VAs that I work with that schedule my social media that I can say, hey, I don't have time to create content today, and something's got to go out. Here's the idea. Go to ChatGPT. I will approve it, and out it goes. I'm so, so thankful for that. So yeah, your systems must be scalable. They have to be because I can't be doing the $5 tasks and missing out on the $1 million tasks, right? So
Very
yeah,
true.
I'm fully aware that that needs to be in place.
Very, very true. I always say that we should be really playing on our strengths and really staying in the zone of genius. And
Hmm.
also, you as the founder, since this is basically a one-woman show as for right now, you
Yeah,
really need to make sure that you're in a position where you truly focus on the highest revenue generating activities,
right.
right? So, absolutely, delegation is an important part of the business. Everybody needs to learn how to do it, when to do it. Beautiful. Now, Trish, talking about the future, you already gave us a little sneak peek in terms of what's coming, what's going to happen next.
Mhm.
I think the team building is a big part of that. But specifically, if you think about the short-term goals, maybe the next 6 to 12 months,
Mhm.
what would you say it is? Like the biggest targets, goals, revenue, milestones. What is that for you?
In 6 to 12 months, I want to have at least 10 more clients. I want to have at least 10 more mentorship clients. That's the goal. And I didn't have the bandwidth to do that until I let the day job go. So, but what's funny is the industry from the day job is still reaching out to me and saying, hey, we need that presentation you gave in Dallas, in California. Hey, we need that presentation you gave in Ohio. So I think I'm going to be busy in a couple of realms in that way, but it's going to free me up to be more vocal about my business because in an ADHD person's mind, and if anybody misses this, anybody hears this, it's gonna resound in their hearts. Um, we have such a sense of loyalty that we feel like, okay, if I have put out the fact that I am XYZ business on LinkedIn, I don't really want to promote my business too much there because I don't want to send a mixed message because I don't want to, hurt my boss's reach by promoting my things. It's just a big confounding mess in your head. And so now that I am free from that and I am strictly doing messy minded magic, it's going to make a huge difference. Huge
Yeah.
difference.
No, I definitely feel like this is a step into the right direction.
Yeah.
Obviously, the industry that you're in is absolutely booming. There's a lot of people who really need your help.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty certain that this is going to grow. And also, one thing that I'm curious about though, if you could travel back to maybe a couple months ago, maybe a year ago, where you really decided that this is what I'm going to do with my life, this is what I'm going to create, and if you could give yourself an advice, what would that be? What is like the best piece of advice that you would give yourself?
I'll tell you what it is. Number one, it's get out of your own way. Let things work. Just let them work and stop feeling like you have to deliver results. You're not delivering results. You're giving everything you have, and your client has to do the work. If you tell them you're going to give them results, you're lying to them. You need to tell them that they need to be willing to do the work, but that you'll stand with them every minute of the way, because that is the biggest thing that got in my headspace.
Very true. Yeah, you just dropped a golden nugget. So anybody listening to this right now, just rewind 2 minutes and listen again. No, Trish, I want to say thank you for taking the time today, sharing the story with me and the listeners. It's a beautiful journey. I'm very happy that you decided to do it. There's
Thank
definitely a
you for
place for
having
a
me.
coach like you in the industry. So I'm going to be wishing you all the best. I'm going to be a big
Awesome.
fan. Yeah.
Thank
And
you.
if anybody from the listeners would like to get in touch with you, connect, maybe even work with you, what is the best way to go about it?
They can go to www.messymindedmagic.com, but honestly, the best way is to any of the links in my bio, just get on our mailing list and then just reach out. Reach out by DM. I am still small enough that I'm answering my own DMs, guys. So yeah, just reach
There is
out.
a benefit to being small.
Yeah, just reach
Here we
out.
go.
Email me. I will answer you.
Beautiful. Trish, thank you again. Great
Thank you.
conversation. Awesome. Now, to our listeners, if today's conversation inspired you as well, make sure to subscribe to Founders Future on your favorite platform. And also, if you're a business owner, more specifically a consultant or a coach, or you have an agency, and you're trying to scale the business and really enhance both your sales and marketing efforts, also visit closers.io, get in touch with our team, and discover how exactly we scaled our company from zero to over 30 million per year in less than 3 years. Until then, keep on crushing it, and I'll see you on the next one.